All right, welcome to Serenity Education channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for me if you have not done so. Thank you to all those who have done so. I really appreciate your input and your support. Right, today we're going to look at Microsoft Word. Like yesterday, we specifically focused on Northwest and then Eastern Cape. Today, we are focusing on Gauteng province and then also Free State. If we have enough time, we will add another province, which will be maybe Western Cape. If there's no enough time, we will only proceed or maybe continue tomorrow. Right. Now, yesterday, somebody drew my attention that I didn't do question 7.7. My apologies because I thought the Microsoft Word questions only ended here, not knowing that there is the last page of Microsoft Word regarding Eastern Cape that is on 7.7, on page 16. Now, they said find the four pictures under the heading founding members and add a caption to the last picture. The caption must be founder 4, and then the text should be Simon Fairbanks. So this is the one they have already caption the first three images. Now they want you to add the last image. So let's open that file and then see what we're gonna do. That was Eastern Cape question 7, which is Q7 founders. So we go to the last page. There were images. All these three are having caption, and then the caption say founder 1, founder 2, founder 3. Now we have to add this one to be founder 4. So to insert a caption, you right click and choose insert caption. Alternatively, you can also get it from references and then you find caption. Now by default, it gives you figure 1. That's the default label, but you can create a new label. Now let's click on the arrow. We see equation, figure, and then table. So if you don't have the founder there, you can add the founder. Now, if you want to delete a particular one, you can delete it. So let's say we don't have any founder. You go to new label, and then we type founder. Now, it gives us founder 1. So we type Simon Fairbanks, and then okay. Now you're going to see founder 1 here. So by default, it has changed the first one to founder 2. And then this one founder 3, and this one becoming founder 4. But according to the instruction of the question, this last picture should be founder 4 rather. So what you need to do is you can change this 1 to 4 and then you update. So I change it 1 to 4. Then you go and update these ones. You select, you right click and choose update. So it changes to 3. You change this one also to 2 by updating to 2. And then also this one, you right click and say update. So this one becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. So that it goes back to the normal way of what naming them. Otherwise, you are not going to win because you change this one to 4. And then the initial one there that I deleted was supposed to replace it with 4. Then can also automatically do, yeah, this one here to 4. Then it can be updated also. You can update all of them, these ones to 3, and then this one to be 2, and then this one will be 1, so that to update all of them automatically. Right. So that's how we do this. Otherwise, to be founder 1, and you will not be able to fix it properly. Now, let's move straight to the Gauteng province question papers. That's what we're going to do today. Now, for question 1 million. And then it says, open the 1 million document that contains the information about the 2026 Winter Olympics. Insert your name and surname in the header or footer of the document. So here, the first thing, you go to either the header or footer and you type your name or surname. Then you double click in the middle to remove from the header section. Then the second one, remove the page color from the document. Now the page color is this one. We have to remove this page color. So you can do so by going to search and then you type page color. Now it gives you this, or you can see background color. Then it's going to give you the page color. Then you go to no color. That is another way. Or you can alternatively do that by going through design and then you see page color. Then you choose no color. Then the next one, add a 3pt border line, page border double line to the document. So we have to add a border around the whole document. So again, you can just say border. It's going to give you borders and shading. And then you go to page border, not border on the text. So page border, and then you choose 3pt. The width should be 3pt. And then it says for the whole document. Now you must always check this. It could be only the first page, then you choose that one. Sometimes they can say the rest except the first page, then you choose this also. So here we want the whole document, then you click OK. But watch out for the options also. There are times that they will ask you the page number to change the top, the bottom, the left, and then the right margin of the page number. So you'll get it from options under the page border. Then you can change it there. Again, they can also ask you to pick it whether text or from the edge of the page. So these are the other options that they can ask you to also do. Right. And then after that, you click OK. The next question, ensure that the margins of the first page of the document are the same as the rest of the document. Now, so meaning you have to check the margin of the first page. So you click on the first page, double click anywhere in the ruler settings. On the ruler setting, then it's going to give you the margins. Now check the top margin is 2.54. The left is also 2.54. So all of them were 2.54. Again, you must check the gutter and the gutter position also, so that you don't make a mistake. Now, we go to the other pages, which is the second page. Then you move to the margins. The top and then the bottom are 2.54, but the left and then the right were 1.9. So we need to change this one also to 2.1, 2.54. Right. Then you click OK, so that they all have the same margin. And then the next question, find the image on the right-hand side of page 1. Modify the image to display as you see. Now note, the border around the image is 2/4 pt. Now you can see the image has been turned into an oval shape. And then there's a border also around that image. So there are two things that you need to do. That is why the total mark is 2. So the first thing to do is to change it to the oval shape, and then you apply the border around it. So let's see how we're going to do that. So this is the image. You click on the image, then it's going to give you picture format. Or in the older version, you see format. Then you see crop, and then crop to shape. And then you choose the oval shape. They can ask you to choose any of these shapes. So here we pick oval shape. That is what we see. And then we go to picture border, still under the picture format. The weight is 2/4 pt. Then you get your full marks. Then 1.5, insert a table of content on page 2 as follows. Now, the table of contents says you must use the Olympic style as level 1 and Olympic 2 style as level 2. The format should be fancy and no page numbers should be displayed. Now, let's check the page number. We are going to insert it on the second page. So it should be under this heading. And then you can use the tell me what to do and say page number. Sorry, table of content. Then you pick custom table of content. Alternatively, you will get it also from references, table of content, custom table of content. Like I always preach, you must use the method that is when I only have a minimal time to solve that question. Then the format should be fancy. Now check the question again. It says we must use Olympic style and then Olympic style 2. So meaning we need only 2 levels. So you might change it here. Show level. It should not be 3, it should be 2. Why is it 2? Because we need only the 2 levels. And then it said do not display the page numbers. So we go to this side, say show page numbers, we must uncheck. And then you go to options. Then heading 1 and heading 2 is not the one we are looking for. So we need to delete the TOC levels from there. And then you scroll down and go and look for Olympics and the Olympic 2. So Olympics will be level 1 and then Olympics 2 will be level 2. So you might be having 3 or 4 levels and then click OK. So this should be the right table of content. Right. Locate the paragraph that starts with unlike previous winter games and ends with and scenic beauty. Apply the 6 pt paragraph spacing after, and then paragraph spacing should only be after, and then the line spacing should be 1.5 lines. So we have to go and look for that paragraph. This is the paragraph. So we just have to click inside the paragraph. And then we are going to change the paragraph settings, which we can find it from Home tab and then paragraph. Or we can, in examination, I know some of you will be panicking. You don't even know where to find paragraph. You can also use the search and say paragraph. Then it gives you paragraph settings. And then the question says we have to use 6 pt after. So after, we must change it from 8 to 6. And then 1.5 line spacing. So the line spacing should be 1.5 lines. Now check out, we have different line spacing, double, at least, exactly, and then multiple. So we choose 1.5 lines and then OK. So this is how the question wanted us to do. Now we move to the next question, which is 1.7. Locate the heading news and sports event and insert one logo image below the heading as shown below. This is the heading, and then the image is here. Now, the height and then the width of the image is exactly 5 centimeters for 6 marks. So now, when we insert the image, the first thing we need to do is we change the height and then the width. After that, the image must be moved to the middle, and then there is also a caption below it. So you must know that you have to do at least 6 things before you can get the full mark. You have to identify what you need to do because the question didn't give you a clue, only the height and then the width that they gave you. So we're gonna insert the image under this heading. So we have to get a space. So we can click here before this paragraph and press space so that we can get more space. And then we are going to insert the image. Like yesterday, I showed you another way of also inserting the image. We can just go there and then um, here is the image, one logo. You click and then you drag it. Then you come and place it where it needs to be. Then you release it. You don't need to go to insert images picture from this device, then you go and look for the images. Sometimes you struggle to look for even where you can find the folder and you'll be wasting time. So you have to check all these. Right. So now, after that, we need to change the image size. You click on the image and then it will give you picture format. Then you go to the size. According to the question, the image size should be 5 centimeters, both the width and then the height. So for you to get the exact size, you must tick and check this one, lock aspect ratio. There shouldn't be aspect ratio lock. You have to remove them. Then you can now change the height to 6 centimeters and then the width also to 6 centimeters. Then you click OK. Watch out for also the scale. They can ask you to change the scale, height, and then the width instead of the absolute height and width. Then OK. Now, this image, don't forget it should be at the center position. So we can move it also to the middle by going there and then we choose square or maybe this one so that we can move our image. We have to make sure that we have more space. Or we can even center the image also. But now we can move it to the right position. And then there should be a caption. So you right click and then insert caption. We don't want to see this figure. We only want to see the one. So you say exclude the label from the caption. So we can now only have one and then we type IOC logo. So we excluded that one and then we click OK so that we can have IOC logo below it. Right. So basically this is what needed to be done. And I think we have solved all of it. There's no border there. It seems there's a border around news, post, and event. You can see here. So you can put a border around this text by going to border, borders and shading, and then we choose a border around that paragraph. But now this one goes too far. I don't know whether there's a border or right. Maybe just if you want to put a border, maybe you can also put just a shape, which is this one, and we can draw it around this only small one. And then we choose behind text, and then we can now change the width shape outline to maybe 3pt, like this one. Right, so if you choose the normal border, it's gonna go through the whole page. But now we want it to be only around it. So you can put um, the shape called text box, and then we now put the weight around it. I don't know whether this question wanted us to put the whole paragraph or the whole border around it. So, but if you don't know it in examination, just do it. Then to do that, you go to insert, shapes, and then text box. Then we can put a text box around the whole thing. Again, we have to choose what we call the layout option behind text. Now there's one text box behind another text box. That's why we see it here. Maybe the question didn't want us to put this text box. It only wanted us to put an image, put a caption, change the size, and then also put a border around that heading, and then center it also. So that one can even give you 6 marks. Maybe this border is not part of it. That's why they did not include it in the instruction or the note. Right. Now, 1.8, find the three headings and paragraph that starts with sustainable and then innovations and ends with athletes and spectators alike. On page 4 of the document, place the three headings and paragraph below it to display in three columns. So here we are talking about columns, and then it should start on top of each heading must be on top of each column. So this question keeps on repeating. So you must know how to do this and place them on top of each column. So here we go to column 4, page 4. You select from here up until this side. And then columns, you can find it from layout, or you can just go to search and say column, add or remove column, then you go to more columns. And it should be 4 columns. The question didn't ask us to put a line between, so we click OK. Then each of these heading here must be on top of each column. So you click before this heading, then you go to layout, break, column. So that will be on second column. Then again, the same, you repeat the steps. Before this heading, layout, break, column. And lastly, we have this. I don't know whether it was also another one. Layout, breaks, column. So we have 4 columns. Did the question say 4 or 3? Yeah, 3. On page 4. Place the 3 headings and then the paragraph below it in the 3 column. Yes. So we're supposed to do 3 columns, not 4. So we need to change it to 3 columns. Yeah. So it should have been 3 columns, but not 4 columns. So this is how it's supposed to be. Right. Then the next question. But before I move to the next question, I want to check if there's any comment, then I'll be able to address everybody's comment. Right, 5 centimeters. Okay. It says 1.3. We should also change the margins to moderate. Let's check whether the question said that. Let's check also. Thank you for also checking. Ensure that the margins of the first page are the same as the rest. Let's check. That's the first page. The first page was normal margin. And then it was normal. That's why they changed it to 2.5 for all of them. So we needed to change. And then the second page was moderate. So that's why we changed it to normal one. 2.54 the same. So you can also use this one to also check. And then somebody also said 5 centimeters. All right. Things to look at when dealing with a screenshot. Yes, you have to look at like this screenshot here. You must check it properly. Like here, they gave you this one. They said the height and then the width they gave you. And then you can see that this image here is in the middle. It is not directly under this. And then you can also find this one. You can also see this, which is the caption. And then the image is in the middle. And then there's a border also around it. Normally, when you see a border like this around, unless otherwise stated, maybe they just use it so that you will see the picture clearly. You don't have to do it. It's not part of the question unless they mention it with a note. So you have to always check. But this one here, clearly, you can see that there's a border. There's a border around this one. Right. And anytime there is a border around text and images and others, you use text box, then you have to use behind text so that the text box will be displayed as well as the text also. Right. Now let's move straight to 1.9. Insert automatic page number in the footer as follows. This is where most learners also get it wrong. Page numbers must start on the third page. The key word here, it must be on the third page with 1. And then the cover page and table of contents must not be numbered. Then the format of the page should be dots. So there are 3 things that you need to look at. The page number should start from page 3. That means that the first 2 pages will not be numbered. And then the format should be the dot format. And then the page numbers must be in the footer. That is at the bottom of the document. So the first mark is for the footer. The second mark will be this one, the dot. The third mark, these ones are not numbered. That's the cover page and the table of content. And then the fourth mark will be this one, starting to number with 1. So sometimes you will see a learner starting from page 3 and then to say 2 or 3. Then you lose only 1 mark and get only 3 marks. So whenever you see this type of question, don't panic. Do it. Insert a page number. Do what you can do. Even if you forget about it, you get some mark, rather than leaving the question unanswered. So now, how do we insert the page number? That's what I'm going to show you now. They said the first page and then the second page should not be numbered, meaning that we are creating section break to divide page 1 and 2 from the rest of the pages. So we move to the third page where we have to start numbering. You click before the beginning of all the text, which is the 2026 Olympics. And then you go to layout, breaks, and then you choose continuous break, this one. You can also choose next page, which is correct, but I prefer continuous because it will not create additional page for you. And then when you are done, the next thing is to delink these pages from the rest of the pages. Now, so you go to the header of page 3, where you inserted the section break. You double click on the header. Click on link to previous. You must unlink them. And then you do the same for the footer. You have to unlink. So both the header and footer must be unlinked. Just do that. Then you can see here it says header section 3. When you go here, it says header footer section 2. That means you have divided this section with that section. Then you can start numbering here. The moment you click on the footer, you will see header and footer. Let's say in an examination, you have made a mistake and you have clicked somewhere here. Go and check header and footer, just like the way you normally check the images. So you go and check header and footer. Then there are so many things that you can do there. They can ask you to insert date and time. They can ask you to insert document properties. They can ask you to insert quick paths. They can also ask you to insert a picture there. and other things. Now here, they are asking us to insert page numbers. And footer is the bottom, so you choose bottom of the page. Then we go and use the dot. Here's the dot. Now look at it. It says 3, page 3. Now go and check that there's no page number in page 2, and check again. There's no page number in page 1. So many of you have divided them. Then this page 3 must be changed. You see now I changed to page 4. Oh no, here's page 3, yes. You go to page 3, and then you go to page numbers again, format page number. That's where you change the formatting and say start at 1. So here should start at 1. Then you can see here will be 2. If it says 1 again, you go and then change it again. Here should be 2. Or you can say continue from previous section, because this one here is section 4. They divided them. So you should continue. If it doesn't show you, only change to 2. Start at 2. So this is 1, and here should be 2. It keeps on saying 4. And it has been delinked from this side. Or the header was not delinked. So this one must be start at 2. This one here, section 2. That one. Link to previous must be removed here. So we start here at 2. Because there's one section, unless we remove the section, because there are so many sections in this document. So here should be from 2. So 1. 3, that means it's linked with this other one. Let's update. One, 2. Here also different section. The problem is when you have so many sections, you have to change the formatting. So it should be starting at 0. So that here is 1. Update. Okay. So let's say start at 2. When you have so many sections, yeah, start at 2. So now it works perfectly. When you have so many sections in it, it creates a problem. That means they have divided every page separately. So meaning you have to do it one by one, because they are so, unless we remove section break from here. This one is fine, but then when it comes to section 2, we are starting to number from section 2. This one here, so 1. So this one should be 2. So if they have divided them into different sections, then that means that you have to start numbering them. Start at 1, the other one should be also 2, or you can say it should link to the previous one, not the very first one, which is section 1 and 2. Then it will work for you. So this question had so many division or sections, and then if you check the mark, it's just 4 marks. That means that you have to remove different sections. So this one here, the third one must be 1 mark, when it starts with one, maybe they were not going to have a lot of they were not going to be strict because of the different sections. So meaning we needed to only do the first part, whereby it will start numbering as one from here. Right. Now the next question, modify the Olympic style. Now here they say modify. Modify means change. Change. It doesn't mean you must create a new style. You cannot recreate. So there's a style called Olympic style that we need to change. Where do you find the style? You go to home, you see them your Olympic style. So you right click and choose modify. And now it said the font should be 20. Then you change the font size to 20. And then it should be small caps. Apply the small caps effect to the heading. So how do you get a small caps? You go to format. There are so many things under format. Now this one, small caps, is part of font. Then you see small caps and then okay. So they can also give you this advanced, that is the spacing. They can give you this type of question. So you must watch out for that. Now, after that, you tick update automatically so that it will be applied automatically on all the Olympic styles. Right, so that is all for question one. Now, let me check if there's no comment. Let's proceed. There's no comment, so we can proceed to question two. Now, to history. So here we're going to open to history. Please, Microsoft Word, you should never underestimate it. Like I always say, try to gather all the marks in Microsoft Word. Don't underestimate Word. Right. Now, the first question says, insert the file path of the document to the header. So we just double click on the header. And then, like I said, you'll find header and footer. Then the file path, you get it from document info. And then you see file path. Sometimes they can even tell you the file path should be in uppercase or what. Then you have to change it to uppercase. So you must watch out for that type of question. There are other ones that you can insert. Document titles like author, the comment, the company, and all those things. They can ask you that. Then insert the two winter image as a watermark. So here we want image as a watermark. On the first page only, the keyword first page only. That means the watermark should not be on all the pages. Now, anytime you see first page or last page or a specific page, then you must know that you have to divide the pages, which is the section break, just like the way we were doing the page numbers. So we have to go and insert the watermark, which is part of design, watermark. Or if you don't know where to find, instead of it to waste time, go to search and type watermark. And then you choose custom watermark. So we choose picture and select the picture. From file, so we are going to insert the picture. All right, sorry, network issue, and I think I'm back online. Network issue. Um, I'm so sorry where I find myself. There's a little bit of network issue, but I believe from tomorrow everything will be sorted out. Now, I believe everybody can see my screen right now again. Can you see the screen? All right, thank you very much. Now, if you can see the screen, then I can proceed. Sorry for the network interruption. So now, like I said, it says we must insert. Okay, let me proceed here. Insert the two winter image as a watermark. So you insert it, and then we remove the washout. Then the scale is 150%. Then you click on apply. Now, when you insert it, it will be on all other pages. But now the question says should be on it should be on the first page, only the first page. Now, because anytime they ask you a question, first page only, then your work is easier. First page only, it is easier. But if they ask you to maybe put it on the last page, that is where you have to put a section break. Now, first page only, what you need to do is you double click on the footer of the first page, and then you take this one, different first page. When you take different first page, it is just like inserting the section break. You are dividing first page from the rest of the pages. So you can now see first page, section 1, and when you go here, it says section 2. You just have to take different first page. And then after that, make sure that your footer is still activated. Then you go and click on the image on the first page. Now the question is only the first page should be displayed. That means we go and click it on the second page, not the first page, and then you delete it. So now the first page will be there, the second page is gone. That is when they say first page only. But if they are asking you to put it on maybe page 2 only, then you need to put the section break before and after page 2. Then you must remove link to previous. So that is how we insert watermark on a specific page. Now, use a drop cap feature to change T. Now you can see this is drop cap, not in margin. In margin, if it was in margin, it was going to be somewhere here. But here, it's dropped because you see G, grew is on the same level. So this one and grew, they are on the same level. So this one is a drop. Now, we go to that page, this one, that's page 1, and then drop cap. You go to insert, drop cap, or you tell me what to do, and then you choose drop cap options, then drop, not in margin. Then let's check how many lines. There are 2 lines, line 1 and line 2. So the line to drop is 2. And then, okay. The question didn't tell us the space between. They didn't tell us anything. Only drop and then 2 lines. Now, 2.4, insert a hyperlink to the text Winter Olympics on page 2. So you select the text, you right click and choose link. And then it says it should link to the bookmark highlight. Now, where do you find bookmark? You can get it from here, or you can choose place in this document. When you are linking to bookmark, you can click on place in this document, then you see the bookmark. Or you can just click on, when you are here, you see bookmark. Then it show you the bookmark name. And this is the bookmark name, which is highlight, and then OK. Then the next question says, the text highlight must display when you hover over the highlight or hyperlink. That means screen tip. When you see this word here, it means screen tip. So we go to screen tip and then we type highlight. Right. So that's how we link to a bookmark. Then the next question. Find a placeholder below the heading, What are the Winter Olympics by Gail Herman, and insert the text found in to extract document in the data file into the document. Ensure that the font type matches the previous. So here we are going to insert the text. So to insert the text, some of you can just say copy and paste, or you can just also go to insert, object, text from file. We are taking from a certain file, text from file, and then we go and look for it to exact document. Now we don't see it here. Let's see the original document. Oh, it was a text. It was a text. So meaning we can just copy and paste. We can select them, we copy, and then we come and paste it. So now because it's Word document, we could have also said text file here. Text files. And then we'll see to extract, and then we'll find it here. So you can do copy and paste, or you can just use to insert object, text from file, and then you choose not all document you choose. You can choose all files also, you see them. Right. Now, when you insert, they said the font should be the same. What you can do is, there are several ways of doing that. You can check the font and everything here, which is Aptos 12. And this one, when you go there, is Create New. So you can just click on the Aptos 12. Then you click on Format Painter. Then you come and select it. So Format Painter, if you want it to be formatted the same way, we use the Format Painter to do that. Right. The next question, locate a citation below the heading, What are the Winter Olympics? And edit it so that the year displays in the citation. So the year was not there. So you click on it, there's a drop down arrow, and then you see edit citation. Now, the year was suppressed. That is why it doesn't show. So you must uncheck it and then you click OK. Now you see the year. So if you want to suppress, you want to hide it, you take the suppress. And if you want it to be displayed, then you must uncheck it. Right. 2.7, that deals with table. Now, you can see that the table was inserted or it's already there. And there are cell margin, there are some spaces in between the cells. So we call it cell margin. Now, there are some calculations here. Like somebody asked, how do you detect things in the screenshot? You must first check what you have here. You can see there's no cell margin and there is no average here. And then the headings here, the first row has been shaded with a blue color. But then always check the note also if it is there. Fill the header row with any blue color, and then the spacing should be 0.1. Then there are some calculations here for average. So these are the things that you need to do. Now let's check it. The cell margin. When you select a table, when you click on the table, click on this one here to select the entire table. And then it's going to give you table design and then table layout. Those of you using lower version, you will see design and layout. Now, when it comes to table layout, you will find cell margin. Click on it. And then the question said the cell margin should be 0.1 centimeter. So you take allow spacing between cells, 0.1. Now you see the margin. Again, the first row must be shaded with the blue. Now you cannot use this shading here. If you choose this shading, it's not going to do properly. Now, the one that you must use is table design. When you go to table design, you will see shading. This is the proper one. And then you choose any blue color. Whatever you deal with table, you must use the table design and the table layout. If you are dealing with images, you must use picture format. So take note of that. And then the calculations. You can see that there was a merge cell. The first three rows have merged or columns. So you merge these three. And merging you can find from table layout, you see merge cells. And then they inserted the text average number of athletes. Then where do we put the calculation? The next column. The average was calculated here with no decimal place. So you click here, still under the table layout, you will see formula. Now it says sum above. You delete the sum and then you type average. It gives us decimal place, but when you check here, there's no decimal place. This is 546 for the average. 546. And then our answer that we have over there is 225. That means there's a problem there. So we have to round this one. Let's do the rounding first. We can update also. So the formula average above, and then the number format should be no decimal place. But then it gives us 225, which this answer is 546. There could have been a problem. Maybe this 1,000 here, this one, the comma, might be the problem also. Let's delete the commas and see. If there are no comma separator, if we delete them, then we'll see. Let's right click and then update it. Then it gives us 1402. That's totally different. So the comma has changed so many things. Now let's check. I'm going to check from that side. What's the rubric saying? That is question number 2.7. Let's check what the rubric is saying. The header row was added and that average above is the same thing. So I wonder why we are getting different figure. It was just average above with no decimal place. Yeah. So our things are correct because it says average number. So you cannot use any other function. So we needed not to do that. So our answer is correct, perfectly correct. We just needed to just say average above, and then we change the number format to zero decimal place. Right. So sometimes the examination can be confusing. Trust whatever that you are doing, especially the function. Just focus on it because that's the one that we look at and then we give the marks. Right. Now that is all for question 2. We move straight to question number. There was also another question, which is question 7. There's a question there that talks about, yes, male merge. And I know most of you struggle with male merge. You still have some grade 12 who struggle with male merge. So today, let's look at it. Now, Q7 merge letter. That's the next one. 7 merge letter. Now, that is male merge. It says accept all track changes that were made to the document. So meaning there were some changes made. How do you detect that there are some changes made? You must go to review and then make sure that you have all markup. Remember, if you choose no markup, that means you won't see any changes made. Or if you choose simple markup, you won't see any changes made. But when you select all markup, all the changes will be there. Now, the changes can be red or it can be blue. Now, as you can see here, 2022 was deleted and then they typed 2026. Again here, summer was deleted and then they typed winter. Now, when you receive this, you need to correct or maybe either you accept the changes or you reject those changes. Now, how do we do that? You can go to review or you can just go to search, tell me what to do, and then type track changes. Now, that is if you don't know where to find it in examination. But if you know, you go to review. Then you go to accept. The questions you must accept all the changes, and then you click on accept and move to next. Or alternatively, you can go to where the changes are, you right click and then say accept insertion. And then you right click here, it says accept the deletion. So here you right click, accept deletion, and you must accept insertion. So that is how we use to detect changes, and then we accept or we reject. These are very easy type of questions that you must also watch out for them. Now, athletes who use a Visa card will receive a personalized letter. Now, there's a criteria here. Those who use a Visa card. Now, use the 7 card type and then the merge letter files to perform mail merge as follows. Now, use the 7 card type document as the data source and then replace all this. Now, when you are doing mail merge, the first thing that you do whenever you are dealing with mail merge is to go to mailings. So we go to mailings and then you click on start mail merge. Then you choose letters unless otherwise stated. Why am I saying unless otherwise stated? Unless they tell you to use envelope or labels or email messages. Otherwise, you must always use letters. And then the next step is to select the recipient list. Who are those going to receive that letter? You go there and you choose use an existing list because according to the question, it says we have to use 7 card document or the 7 card type. So you select use existing list, then we go and select 7 card type. So we choose 7 card type and okay. Then the next one is to edit recipient list. That is where you are going to pick the criteria from, whether we are going to give to a certain group of people or not. So we click there, and now remember the question says only Visa card. So where do we find Visa card? Because that's what the question says at the beginning. All athletes who use Visa card will receive. So meaning those who don't use Visa card will not receive. So you have to take note of that. And then regarding a travel reward program for the winter. So here, let's check again. So we have only Visa card, the card type, surname, name, and data source. So here, we choose only Visa. So if it's only one, it becomes easier. You can only just click on the arrow and then you select Visa. Or you can go to filter and then you say card type equals to Visa. But the easier one is to click on this arrow. It's going to give you all the type, then you click on Visa. And then okay. They can also ask you to sort and do other things there. Right. Then whenever you see this less than and greater than, that means you are going to replace that field. So we select the name underscore name, and then we insert it with a merge field called name. Then you must make sure that you press the space bar to get a space. Then you select the surname, insert merge field, and then choose surname. So there was no card type given to you. Now, when you are done, you must save it. Anytime you are done inserting the merge field, don't forget to save your work. Otherwise, whatever you have done will not be seen. Then after saving, you go to finish and merge, edit individual document, and then you click OK. So now we are going to have another document whereby we are sending to these people different documents. So you can see that I have two documents now, the 7 merge letter and the second one that says letters 1. So this one, they will always tell you to save it with a new name. Like now it says complete the merge field as 7 merge. So we need to save the 7 merge. That is this one. You go to File, Save As, and then you select, you browse to go and select that folder, and then you type 7 merge as the name. And then you click on save. So basically, that is how you are supposed to tackle this mail merge question. 7.2 is not Microsoft Word. We have already done that. We did 7.2 already when we we're dealing with spreadsheet. So that is all for Gauteng question papers. Now let's check if there's any question. If there's no question, I'll move straight to the next province, which is Free State. Now I have Free State question 1 here. One adopt. This is Free State 2025 question paper. So you can see Microsoft Word is easier to do. Please make sure that you totalize to get all the marks regarding Microsoft Word. Now, the first part, move the picture to the top of the page and edit it as follows. The picture is already there on top. Set the width of the picture to 21 centimeters. So we have to change this picture to 21 centimeters. You click on it, picture format, size, and then the width. Don't forget to remove the log aspect ratio. Then the width should be 21. And then okay. So that the picture will be stretched across. The picture must resemble as you see over there. So I think it resembles, only that we need to remove some parts because some of the pictures, yeah. All right, so after this, we can now change it to 21. It looks like it's filling every place. Right. So you must make sure that they fill all the spaces. There are no spaces left. So you must make sure it covers every place by not changing the size. See, the size is still 21, but you just drag them to fill all the spaces. You don't change the size. Right. Then the next question, edit the row of social media as follows. Remove the double strike through, which is part of font. So all these are part of font. Double strike through is part of font. And then character spacing. When you see character spacing, it's part of font. Character spacing font group. Take note. Right. And then change and then center the font color. You say center it and then change the font color of the heading to red. So all these are part of font. Now let's go and look at it. So now, this is the heading we are talking about. We select, and then we go to the font group, or we can just search for font. Then, when you go there, there's double strike through. We have to remove it. And then again, the question says the font color should be red. And then we go to advanced. That is where we see the character spacing. So the character spacing expanded by 1.5 pt. And then it says we need to center it. So center is not part of the font. So you must click OK, and then you center. You click on center. So this is how we needed to do regarding that question. And then format the smart art to be displayed as shown in the example. Now, let's check the smart art that we see. We see a smart art like this, which is totally different from what we see here. So when you click on the smart art, first of all, it's going to give us smart art design. And we have different layout and smart art style. There are different 3D smart art style that we can use. Let me use this one. And then the layout. The layout should be like what you see here. Remember the question says you must choose 3D insert style. Yeah, 3D insert style. So each of shows the right. That goes like this and that one. So it was the layout that gave us this one. So we go to layout and we look for the layout that looks like that exactly. It's not this. You can see. Now the one that best matches is this one. Not even this one. The one that matches is this one, which is called continuous picture list. That's the one you see them exactly as you see from the screenshot there. And then there's X image, there's TikTok image, and the Facebook image. So the images must be displayed there. You must select the images. So X. Then here you click on TikTok. And then double click on Facebook. There we go. So that it works exactly as we see from the screenshot. Now, if there's a note, do the one that talks about the note. Then you can see that this one is having a certain layout, which is different from what we see from our question paper. Right. Now, 1.4, modify the hope style. Just like the one we saw from Gauteng question paper, there is a style called hope. We need to modify it. That is applied there in green font color and then small caps. So here we are changing the font color and then the font effect. So we go there and then look for the hope style. The hope style, they say it was applied on the new hope. Now let's go and check. It was heading, oh, it says heading one hope. So we have to check it. You right click and then see modify. And then we have to change to green and then small caps. So we go to format, font, then the font color should be green. And then small caps, then okay. Then we choose automatically update so that it will be applied on this new hope for animals. Right. The next question, it says, find the letter R of the word recent in the first paragraph. So this is what? Drop cap. And then note, Constantia font is used for letter R. So they change the font also. Sometimes they can give you a funny, not common font name to confuse learners. So you click here, drop cap. You can just go there and say drop cap, add drop cap, more drop cap options, and drop. Then you check how many lines. It covers line 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 lines. So line to be dropped, it should be 4. And then the question says again, the font should be Constantia font. So you select it and then you change the font. CON S. Constant. Yeah. So basically, this is how it's supposed to be. You change the font color or the font name and then that one. Forget about this one. Check the number of lines that they are covering. Maybe the font size was also reduced because as you can see here, it goes up to audience. So where is that audience here? Here's the audience. So maybe they reduce the font. If you reduce the font, it will not do. Or if it's pick audience, let's check the 3, maybe 3, but it doesn't seems like 3 lines. It doesn't look like 3 lines. It's not 3 lines, it's the 4 lines. So you check from the screen and then you choose the right number of lines and then also. And then because there are 3 marks, the font color for letter R. And then this one, check the ruler settings also. from 0 up until 15 point something. So let's check 0, 15 point. Yeah, that's the exact one, 0 and 15. So everything is correct. So I thought maybe it was this one here that changed everything. So start from 0 and up until 15. So that's the right one. Right, we move to the next question. Replace all the occurrences of the word social with the correct spelling and then highlight the corrected text with a blue color. So we are going to find and replace social with a blue color. Like I said, you go to search and then you type replace. Or you can find it from home. You will see under editing, you see replace. So what are we finding? Social. Replace with the same word social. Then you go to more. You have to choose whole words only because it does not have to pick other things. Then you change the font color to be blue. Then you go to replace all. So we've got 5 replacement. So all the social will be changed to blue color. Now, as you can see here, social, this is the correct spelling. Otherwise, we're going to have that one also. Now, sorry, it says highlight. I got it wrong. It's supposed to highlight. So let me undo. So I made a mistake. So you click on this social, then you click on no formatting. Then I'm going to change it again. Highlight. We are going to highlight it to blue. But before you choose the highlight, you must make sure that you have changed the highlight color here to blue. Then before you come to this side and then choose highlight so that to pick the blue color, then replace all. Otherwise, it's going to pick the yellow color. So you must watch out for that. The color that you're going to highlight that text with, make sure that color has been selected from highlight here before you do that. Right. Any question? There's no question, so I will proceed. If there's no question, if you have questions, don't forget to ask, and then I'm going to answer almost everybody's question. Right. Now, the next question here. So find the 3 highlighted paragraphs in the document and change them to 3 columns, like you always see with 1 centimeter. So you can see Microsoft Word has a similar type of question. So you can see all the provinces, whatever that we are doing, columns, find and replace, drop cap, and then all those things. So you must watch out for them. Now, and then it should appear on top of each other. They are all similar type of questions. He said this one should be in 3 columns. So you select, you go to column, and then you choose more columns, 3. Then they said line. Let's check whether there's line between. No line between, but they said 1 centimeter. So the spacing should be 1 centimeter. And then you click OK. Then after that, each heading must appear. So you click before the engaging content, you go to layout, break, and then you choose column. Then you click before regular update, layout, breaks, and then column. So that each of them will be on top of each column. That's how we do this type of question. Right. Change the line and then the paragraph spacing of the paragraph that starts with the platform as follows. So the paragraph spacing should be 8 pt after, and then the line spacing will be multiple of 1.4, similar to the one that we saw from Gauteng province also. So it should be the paragraph under the heading platform. Here is it. You click inside it. You can choose paragraph settings here, or you go there and click on paragraph. Then the after should be 8 centimeters. And then they say multiple at 1.4. So you choose line spacing, multiple at 1.4. You don't get 1.4 when you use the arrow, so just say 1.4 and then OK. Then the next question. A footnote was inserted in the document and it's no longer needed. Change it to an endnote and add a text transform. So a footnote was added. So we need to right click and say convert to endnote. Then we type the text just after the hashtag transform. There we go. So you can change a footnote to endnote or endnote to footnote. All that you need to do is you right click. It's going to give you the option. If there are something that you need to change, sometimes they can ask you to change the hashtag or um the symbol they use. Then you go to note option so that you'll be able to change them. Sometimes they can even ask you to change it to end of the section for end note. Then you can change it also there. So you must watch out for that type of questions also. Now, insert a table of figures without page numbers. So table of figures here without page numbers. You can get table of figures from references and then you see table of figures. Or in examination, if you don't know the exact place that you can find it, just go to table of figures. If it doesn't show the figure, it's going to give you table of figure. So you type the keyword figure. And now the question says we should insert the numbers without page numbers. Here is it. Show page numbers, you remove it. And then you click OK. They did not tell you what type of format you must use. So you just go and click OK. Don't waste time to try to change so many things, which is going to affect other questions also. Right. That's all for question 1. Now let's go to question 2. Add the path type, or it says add a text field effect to the word art woodland animals as follows. Now, so we have to open to rescue. So this word art, they ask us to change it. The text field effect to the word art as follows. Add the path type gradient field. Now, when you select the word art, it gives you shape format, just like a text box. Now, it gives you a shape format that you can change so many things. Now, the question is talking about the effect. So when you go here, this one is text effect, this one is text outline, and this one is text fill. Now, which one is the question saying? Add the text fill effect. So it's that one here. Text fill, then you go to gradient. They ask a certain gradient that you must use. Let's check the question again. A path type gradient fill to the text. So this is the gradient fill. choose more gradient. If you don't find the gradient field that you are looking for, you go to more gradient and you find it there. Now, we have the direction, we have the type, not linear. They said the path type. And now they can also ask you about the preset gradient, which has different names. So you must watch out for that. If you don't see the normal gradient, you can just go to more and go to gradient field. You will find them there. Right, so that's what the question wanted us to do. Now, the next question, change the page layout of the document as follows. Set the page size to legal and then the gutter position to left. So the size should be legal. Like I told you, just double click in the ruler settings. Then it's going to give you the size, paper size to be legal. And then the gutter to be left. The gutter margin to be left. And then okay. Right. Next question. Set the proofing language to English South Africa and justify the document. So the proofing language, you must select all the text. Then you see under here, English United Kingdom. You see proofing language, double click, and then you choose South Africa, and then okay. Alternatively, when you double click, and then you choose English South Africa, there's a current document. You don't need to select them, and then okay. Or you can just go to search and say language. It's going to give you the set proofing language. Then you can set it also. So there are several ways of changing the proofing language. Insert and then sorry, the question is justify. So we select all of them. Justify is this one. Alignment. Next question, which is 2.4. Insert and right align a field in the header to display the date when the document was last saved. So here we go to the header section. Double click on the header, and then it's going to give a header and footer. Now we want the date that it was saved. So we go to document info, document properties, and you don't see the date saved. We have published date. Now to get that, you must go to field here. And now you can see save date. Or date saved. Yes, save date. Right. Now, sometimes they can tell you to the date. You see, date must be updated automatically. They can tell you to only put the month or the current time or what. Then you go to the field code. You see, gives you the save date. And then you can modify them there. But now here, they just wanted the date. Only the date with that format. Right. Then the next question, find the text application on the last page of the document. Set and apply appropriate tab to align the form control next to the cell name. And then, so let's look at the last page of the document. Good. So now, they want the cell name. According to the question, set and apply appropriate tabs to align the form control next to the cell name to 4 centimeters. So you add this, I think should be left. You click there, and then you click just below the tab to 4 centimeters. So meaning this one should be on 4 centimeters. When you click on send name, it goes there. So if you were to do the same thing here, you change it to 4 centimeters. The name, 4 centimeters, and then now press tab. So that you can arrange them properly. The question only say only the cell name. So you change the tab stop to 4 centimeters of the cell name. And then again, change the text form field next to the name to display the letter in capital letters. So the name should double click, name to be capital letters, text format you choose uppercase, and then OK. And then the next one, format the ID number field to an appropriate data type and length. ID number should be a text. So you double click and then you change from number to regular text. ID number cannot be a number, it is a regular text. Then the question says the length. The length ID number is 13 letters. So you select and type 13. Then again, use an appropriate feature to indicate which day would you like to volunteer. So here, it's a checkbox. Saturday or Sunday. That means the type to which day. Please indicate that checkbox. It must be checked. So when you are selecting, it should be checked. So that's the type that you must select. And then the last part here, I think 2 questions. Find it and then you modify the image as you see. Now we can see that there is a shape inserted and then it's type volunteers. So let's look at it. This one, this image is already there. So we need to insert that shape. And I think it's this shape. Let's look at the shape again. It's not a star. I think it's explosion point. Is this one with the 8 points. And then you right click and choose add text, and it was added as volunteers. Then the filling, when you click on the shape, it's going to give you shape format. Then shape fill must be white inside it. That means the text must also change to black. The font must be changed to black color. And it should be bold. Can rotate it to be like that. Right, let's check if there are any other instruction. The picture and then the text must move as one object. That means we have to group it as one. So how do we group it? That means they must have the same layout. I've been saying this. Whenever you want to group multiple objects, they must be having the same layout. Now the layout option of this image, when you go there, it shows this one in front of text. Then when you go this one here, it also shows in front of text. So many they are all fine. We can group it. Now to group it, you select the first one, you hold down the control key, you select the second shape. Until all the shapes are selected, then you remove your finger from the control key. You right click and choose group and group so that it becomes one object. So that's how we group objects. Now, the last part, remove the page border around the document as it is no longer needed. So there's a page border, we need to remove it. Again, you go to borders and shading. Now, page border, and then you choose none. The page border should not have anything. You can choose none and then click OK. There won't be any page border. So that is all about this question. Now let's move straight to question number 7. If there's no question here, so even underneath R, there shouldn't be information under it, but a drop cap. Okay. Yeah, I will check that also. I think the drop cap, if you check even the memo, I will check the memo also. It was only, they were specifically looking at the number of text. Let's check it and see before we proceed. Under the marking guideline for that question 2, I think it was question, yeah, you see, they only focusing on, oh, it was in margin, and then 4 lines. The 4 lines was correct, and then the font was used. Now let's check again. But if you look at the question was not clear. Why did it say imagine? When, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why you said that it is in margin. Sorry for that. Like I was explaining the last one, it was supposed to be in margin. Like you said, there's no text. If there's text underneath here, like I said, if there was R and then there are some text here and then some underneath, then this is dropped. So if there are no text underneath, like you said, you rightly said, that is, thank you so much, Skull. There, there's no text, so that one should be in margin. I didn't realize that. So it's supposed to be in margin. Let's revisit that also. That is question one. Question one. Was it question one or question two? I think it was question two. No, 1.5. So recent, yeah, here. So drop cap, let's check again. It was in margin, yeah. And then it dropped around 4. Yeah. That's why it is next to the audience. Yes, it is in margin. Thank you so much. I didn't check that part. There were no lines here. Because when you choose the drop, there will be lines below. That is why. Thank you so much. Right. Now, we go straight to question number 7. Question 7, I think there are some Microsoft Word questions. Yeah, this is Microsoft Word. This is database. And this is spreadsheet. Yeah, 7.3. And that 7.3 there, it is Microsoft Word. Open the 7 pet. Right. Locate the text. The picture below explains the prices and then the spaces of the rental stand. Add a cross-reference at the end of the text to the picture. On the last page of the document, include only the label and the number as a cross-reference. So here they are talking about cross-references. Um, there's a table, and then the question says we must locate the text. The picture below explains. So let's look at that picture here. So we need to add a cross-reference to this one. Cross-reference is part of references, or you can use search and type cross-reference, or you go to insert and then see cross-reference. Now, we can link a cross-reference to numbered item, like a list. We can add it to headings. We can add cross-reference to bookmark. We can add cross-reference to footnote. We can add cross-reference to endnote. We can add cross-reference to equation, figure, and others. So take note of that. Now, the question says we have to add this cross-reference to the picture on the last page. So there's a picture on the last page. So here we have to look for the figure. Now we have to check first. The picture is on the last page. So meaning we have to give a caption to this one because we cannot add a cross-reference when there's no caption or any figure. So we have to add caption. You right click, insert caption. Then we can even make it a name if the question didn't tell us to give it a name. So we can give it a name. Let's say rate. So it is here. Now we can now add the cross-reference to a figure. That's what we can see. Then the question says, include only the label and then the number as the cross-reference. So here, when you choose the name and then insert reference to, only label and number, not the entire caption, only label and number. They can even ask you to insert it to the page number or only caption text. So here we pick only label and number and then we click on insert. Then we close it. Now it means that when we click on this one, it's going to take us to that place. So don't forget, when you use it also here, cross-reference to that. Then we say figure one, and then to be linked to that one. Only the label and then the number. So when you click, it takes you there. So that's how we add cross-reference. Right. Insert the text annexure in the header of the last page only. Annexure, this one. We have to insert it in the header of the last page. So you can copy it, double click on the header, and then you paste. Now look, when you paste it, it goes to all the other pages. Now we need it to be only the header of the last page. And because there are only two pages, like I said earlier, you go to the header and then you take different first page. And then when you take different first page, there's nothing on the header of the first page. It's now only on the last page because there are two pages. If there were more than two pages, then you're going to insert section break and then you now insert them. You unlink them and then you'll be able to insert it only on the last page. So basically, this is how Microsoft Word for Free State was supposed to be tackled. Right. Any other question? Otherwise, we will end here. All right. Sorry, then everything will be recorded and then you get them. Right. Thank you so much for your precious time. We are going to end here tomorrow. I will communicate either I'll be able to have lesson tomorrow or Sunday. If not tomorrow, we can have Sunday and then we wrap up. Sunday, we will have it earlier, maybe possibly around 3, and then we'll be able to finish Microsoft Word. Then Monday, I want us to focus on the June question paper that was written, SE paper. Then we solve all the questions. Then we'll try to address everybody's problem also. Thank you for your precious time. Good night.